Hey guys, it's me, Natty. So a lot of people requested that I do more backstory videos on my dolls. So this is the next one I'm putting up for you guys. And this is backstory for my boy, Rai Xun, who is a Bobobi Apollo. So a lot of stories in Greek mythology have the gods falling in love with mortals, and through that love, children are born. Heracles, Perseus being a few. Though the Greek god Apollo never had very good luck with this. Every woman he ever tried to romance would brush him off, not even giving him a second glance afterwards. And for hundreds of years this kind of happened, so he started giving up, and he went to the mortal realm just for a change of pace. And he came across the actress Rai Fen, who was on a set filming a movie in China, and he became absolutely infatuated with her, and she became infatuated with him. Yay, no. After a few years together, Chan became pregnant, and all this time, for like 3 years, Apollo never told Chan who he was, like, who he really was, like, and to her, he was just a handsome foreign man with golden hair, grass-green eyes, and fluent Chinese. It was during the last month of her pregnancy that Apollo finally decided to tell Chan who he actually was, and that he had to leave soon, as gods are not supposed to mingle with mortals for too long, and this has been going on for a really long time, and the other gods kind of started getting bothered by it. Chan was absolutely furious and demanded that he leave immediately. She was heartbroken and upset and confused, and she thought it was just initially she thought it was just a way for him to ditch her. And the two separated, and Chan was left with the unborn baby. And when the baby was finally born, Chan kept it a secret from everyone. The media, her family, her neighbors, everybody. And she did name the baby Rai Xun Fen, meaning sudden thunder. Xun is a Chinese word for sudden, and Raiden, Raiden, is a god of thunder. She couldn't stand to look at the baby, knowing that he'd grow up different and look exactly like his dad. And it started driving her mad every moment she had to spend with this baby. And she hated and despised the little one, and while he was asleep, she grabbed a pillow and... yeah. Apollo had sensed something really, really wrong going down with his newborn son. Oh no, go back up. I have a point form list here, if you guys are wondering what I'm looking at. And so Apollo disguised himself as a regular mortal guy, and he contacted the police, and they went to Chan's apartment, and they came across her trying to suffocate the little baby. And she was put in prison, but then she was institutionalized. Nobody believing her accusations of her son being the spawn of a god from another country. And a few weeks after she was institutionalized, she ended up hanging herself. Apollo had no idea what to do with the baby. He's not a parental kind of guy. And mortals and demigods have absolutely no place on Olympus because they wouldn't be able to survive up there. But he couldn't just leave Rai alone in China by himself. So he took Rai from China to an orphanage in Canada, because Canada's awesome. Cheers. And Apollo left him there and ceased all contact. He didn't go back to check or anything. He just kind of stayed up on Olympus. And Rai Xun was seriously bullied as he grew up in the orphanage because he had an appearance that was really weird to everybody else. And because he had that demigod aura to him, it really did prevent any potential couples from adopting him, but he did try his best to fit in. And the nuns running the orphanage noticed that Rai had an incredible knack for music, as he was a beautiful singer, could play the piano with ease, like he was able to play Mozart at age 4. And all of his musical skills, unfortunately, were bestowed upon him by Apollo, who is a god of music, god of the sun, blah blah blah. He's a god of a lot of things. So the nuns ended up buying Rai a viola with some of the orphanage's savings. And each time he pulled the bow across the strings, it would be like the world absolutely stops. Like even the gods would stop what they were doing and listen. And each time Apollo would feel a little bit more at peace knowing that his son is okay. But the interviews continued, and unfortunately Rai was never given a new home. And Apollo kind of felt this was his doing, and he felt really sorry for Rai. So he made contact with a good friend of his, the Egyptian god Ra, who is a fellow sun god. Ra at this time was trying to keep himself amused in the mortal world by being an agent in the fashion industry. And when Apollo told him about Rai Xun, his interest was kind of piqued because Rai Xun had that distinctive appearance. So Rai ended up becoming a very cynical teenager, having been neglected by everyone but the nuns at the orphanage, which was now labeled as a group home. At age 14, he was told that he was going to have another interview, but this one was not for adoption or to go into a foster home. But so Rai kept his hopes low and agreed to meet with Ra. And they ended up talking for a long time, and in the end, Rai was offered a modeling contract, which he immediately accepted, anything to get him out of that home. So Rai began doing some teen modeling, and was pretty darn successful as his unnatural hair and eye color made him an interesting subject. He enjoyed hanging out with Ra, but his neglected childhood kind of made him demand some attention from time to time, so he turned to playing pranks on Ra. Like, you know, all those silly, like, put a bucket of water on top of a door, and when he opens it, the water will come crashing down, or, like, electrify a door handle, those kinds of things. And when Rai turned 17, Ra explained that he would be placed in a modeling team, which is a group of more models around his age. And in this group, he met his best friend, Alexei, or Alex, who is my doll over there, who is the god Autumn in disguise, Keith, also over there, an American country boy, Min-ki, a former Korean K-pop star who dyed his hair, Izumi, who is the heir to a Japanese corporation, Christoph, the Norwegian scholar, Dakota, who's over there, who is a shy Scottish intern, and Cody, the nobleman from England. And the group, all of them together, were incredibly successful, taking the world by storm. And Rai became a central focus for the group, often doing concerts and making CDs on the side. But the fun didn't last too long, because Rai has a pretty big strain of bad luck. As the group was doing a photo shoot for a magazine, and everything was going smoothly at first, but nobody seemed to notice that the lighting technicians didn't do a good job with fastening the lights overhead. They had just finished with the last shot of the set when the lighting beams overhead broke and started falling. And Rai, because he's a demigod, was able to sense this before his mortal buddies, and he managed to push everybody out of the way, but he himself got caught under the beams. His life wasn't in serious danger, but he did end up shattering his knee, so he had to leave the modeling industry in order to recover. And finally, after this injury, his luck started turning around. he met a beautiful girl named Amisi, and the two of them hit it off. Yay! And little did he know that Amisi was the daughter of Isis and Osiris, the head honchos of the Egyptian pantheon. And that in meeting her, he was going to be dragged into a shitstorm. That is the only word I can think of to describe what has been happening to him ever since.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is his backstory. Long. I know. I'm sorry. I'm new to this, okay? I'm not used to rambling about my characters to you guys. There's so much more I could have put in, but I felt like it was long enough as it was. And you guys don't really need to know anything that he's been up to now, because that doesn't count as a backstory. So, next on the backstory list will be Demetrius and Yue, both in the same video. So that'll be coming to you guys later. Yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.